What is going on, legends? This is Tyson and welcome back to the Fipsy channel. Today we're going to be talking about the story of Wraith and how the character came to be as we know her in Apex Legends. Let's get to the video now. Wraith's backstory is one that has been fleshed out slightly, but still to this day has some mystery behind what fully happened to the legend. Wraith's real name was Renee Blasey. She was a senior science pilot from the world of Typhon, who believed that other dimensions existed and wanted above all else to prove this, and her science partner Amir Singh set off to get funding for the project. Renee ended up believing so much in these different dimensions that she sought funding to do research for this project, in which she ended up receiving funding from Ares, a division of the IMC, which is a division that was also working to create a world-destroying weapon in, spoilers for Titanfall here, the Fold, to wipe out militia planets in the Titanfall universe. Once they received the funding, they could not get any volunteers for the project, so Renee decided she would be the test subject, knowing that the process was experimental. During the time she was being experimented on, the war ended and the experiment done on Renee Blasey failed. She woke up with no memory of what happened or who she even was, but she did have some new powers that she had gained, and we get to see that on display in Apex Legends. With those new powers and no idea who she was, she ended up escaping the IMC facility and for 12 long years worked on discovering the truth of what had happened to her before she woke up, seemingly having lost every recollection of herself. During the end of that 12-year time period, Renee, or Wraith at this point, her search led her to Kings Canyon. When she arrived, she made it just in time before the Syndicate, who owned the Apex games, were burning the labs in Kings Canyon to completely destroy all records of those research facilities. With the help of Crypto, we see his logo when she entered in the thumb drive into the computer. Wraith was able to gain access to the system to see what had happened to her. She found out her former partner Amir Singh was the lead scientist on the process that was performed on her, but to her dismay was already dead. Frustrated, Wraith used her powers to leave the facility as it was being burned down. I believe at this point she did not think she would be able to get the vengeance on Singh that she so much wanted. However, as she was traveling through dimensions, she happened to find a much younger version of herself who was being experimented on, and not fighting back when she gave her commands through the void. Wraith jumped out of the void to attack the researcher who was performing the experiment on her younger version of herself, and to her surprise, discovered that the IMC was around. The war was still possibly going on in this dimension. While trying to wait for her dimensional portal, Voidwalker Wraith, as I'll call her now, and Wraith continued to look around the laboratory until they came into a room in which Voidwalker Wraith found Amir Singh. She could not pass up this opportunity, as her goal was to get revenge on Amir for what had happened to her and how she had been treated. This was her mission, and so she passed along her Voidwalker gear to our Wraith and told her to leave. Wraith left Voidwalker Wraith and ended up coming back to Kings Canyon just as the Apex games were about to go underway. This Wraith, our Wraith, was now on her own journey to find out who she was, and she entered into the Apex games to gain access to the facilities on Kings Canyon to continue to learn more about who she was before she woke up with no memory of her former self. Up into Season 5, we continue to get little pieces of Wraith's lore. One of the most interesting things that happens now is with the charge towers, and when you run past them, if Wraith has a Watson in your party and you run by Singh's labs as well, she ends up saying a couple different quips such as, "The ghost is real, she attacked me down in the lab." Whereas Wraith responds with, "I told you there's no such thing as wait, we should talk about this later. I promise you, Natalie, you don't see it. Hold up, we should discuss this later." There's definitely some deeper meaning going on in the story of Wraith that I hope we continue to discover as we learn more about the Apex Legends and the Apex lore within the Titanfall universe. For example, while Wraith was being experimented on, why no one came to find her? Could it be that because her home world blew up, she had lost all her friends and her family, and her infatuation with the other dimensions was to discover a dimension that still had her family and friends in it? Also, will Voidwalker Wraith and our race path ever cross again? I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited to keep learning more about the lore in Apex Legends and find these details out about our interdimensional skirmisher. Where do you think her story is going to take us as we move forward into the lore of the game? If you guys like this video and you want to continue to see more videos on lore for characters within Apex Legends, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the content that I put out on the 50 Gaming channel. Additionally, I do stream every week, Monday, Thursday, Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. You can catch me on Twitch at tfipsy.tv. Would love to have you jump in there and ask more questions here and just do some theory crafting on some of the Apex lore that we are hopefully going to get in Season 6 as we get into it. Additionally, if you are a streamer, I do have a streaming support YouTube channel as well that you can check out here. I would love to have you swing by, check out some of that information, and see if any of it does help you improve the quality of your video and audio within your stream. We'll catch you on the next drop-in, Legends. Look forward to it. Damn, dude. Oh, I love how she closes my eyes. She closes my eyes and I have a banana on. a banana on? I had a banana on my eyes.
He has a banana on his face.
Oh my god. What did I just say? I don't even know. I had a banana.